watching. Bit.
On tonight's show, we'll be giving Blade and Ducati the royal thumbs up, and we'll also be taking Pod 2 for a spin around the aisles.
We'll also be giving you our remedy for those seasonal stressful situations and copping an earful of some saucy oral samples in our top 5 sexy sounds.
But first up, it's our Alex with the almighty, awesome giant.
What do you get when you cross a cheeky annelid in a spacesuit and a doggy in his boxer shorts? Well, apart from those crazy natural selection inconsistencies in that finicky food chain hoo-ha, well, if Earthworm Jim and MDK had a baby, it would be called Citizen Kabuto. And I pity the poor mother who's got to split open for that little tyke, because this is Giants.
Sorry about that, Baz. Wait there.
A stunning alien planet in the middle of nowhere is coveted by 3 populations. The original inhabitants, the Sea Reapers, are a mutt combination of readers' wives and a shampooette. They were a paranoid lot and feared invasion. To keep the Ferners off their turf, they birthed a massive and terrifying horned thing called Kabuto. Suffering from single child syndrome, the little nipper soon took over and shoved the Reapers back to their perches on the bottom of the ocean floor. He wants to be alone, damn it, so piss off. Sticking their noses into this hurdy-gurdy, a group of loutish Mecherins on their way to lodge it on planet Majorca for their annual leave crash land and decide they'd add these islands to the Commonwealth. A necessary ingredient in the womb juice of the population of these small islands, the Smarties are tossed in there to spice things up a bit. No, not chocolate candy-covered sweeties, but the bastard children of Eraserhead and Mars Attacks. These little sarcastic bastards are money, dinero, hard cash. Oh, and they're also food sometimes, too.
Hello.
Each group will use the affections of the midgets to their advantage, from building new technologies for the mechs in exchange for a pub or a couple of delicious vimps, to researching new spells for the Reapers, to contributing in their small and smelly way to the reproduction of giant Kabuto. Though how happy they are about being masticated, digested, and then excreted is debatable. Initially, everything's very cut and dry, but once you dive headlong into the chasm of brainthink, things start getting scary. The strategy bit comes in discerning the enemy's weaknesses. Once you and your motley crew get a load of that, it's just a puzzle to get to the next round. You will have to have your head less than fried if you want to weigh up all the options, so lay off the chemicals. This ain't a footy sim. Giants is a bouncing baby of a game. It'll keep you coming back for more, it'll take up all your spare time, and it'll keep you awake all night. Definitely one to plan for. But Giants will be sucking on your personal computer's teat at the end of this month, and it'll grow up real fast and hit the next generations next year when it comes out on the PlayStation 2. Time now for this week's gaming news.
We whet your appetites for long-lost games last week, and now you want more information on another fricking missing game.
One of the most sought-out games this side of the millennium is the super cop shooter Max Payne from Guru Superstars gathering of developers.
Old Max has had it hard lately. A killer drug's taken the lives of his wife and daughter. He's been framed as a cop killer for the murder of his best mate, and the underworld wants to take him to the cleaners. And he's got a real problem with his inner ear. Stand up straight, man.
Well, there's more shit about to hit the shinola because rumours have it that this long overdue game might possibly get chucked in the bin.
After 4 years, Max may just have to sign up to the John Woo School of Has-Beens.
And finally, everyone's gone retro raving.
Not only is there a Commodore 64 tune in the charts, Zombie Nation,
but Asteroids has been spotted on Daft Punk's new promotional ad for One More Time.
Yeah, and have you seen those new FC UK t-shirts? They've got Space Invaders all over them.
Yeah. And what about Radiohead's Blanket Media press campaign, which has also got Space Invaders on it, again?
Yeah, okay, enough already. Let's roll that Daft Punk classic gaming moment.
One.
For Booth to go shopping with the rather infectious Pod 2.
For all gamers bent on non-stop 24-hour racing round the same dull, picture-perfect racing tracks, then wake up! Indulge yourself! Tone those sagging buttocks, because this next game has its mutating tentacles firmly placed in sci-fi storyline, free thinking and online racing for the first time on a console. It is, of course, the Dreamcast delivering what it always promised with Pod 2. Ugh. To say this game looks futuristically fast is like saying Daniela Westbrook looks a bit wired. To put it simply, a planet has been infected by a gooey virus called Pod, which has a certain weakness for all things mechanical. As it infects vehicles, they start to mutate into new forms. This time, Pod also has a penchant for the tracks, and when these get infected, your life gets that much more interesting, as mutating tracks can change to catch you off guard. This time, learning each trial off by heart makes no difference. You're basically racing for your car's life to stop the virus getting hold of you. Creators Ubisoft have tried to inject a real sense of tension, freedom and surprise into the game with countless shortcuts that can either help or hinder you. It may turn out to take you on a longer route, but offer you wicked power-ups, or you could be jumping into a seemingly bottomless pit that turns out to be a secret passage. Expect to turn a corner and suddenly enter an episode of the Day of the Triffids as large, slimy tentacles climb up the tracks to block your path. There's certainly a lot to navigate, so it seems a more pubescent approach will get you far. Short, sharp bursts to ensure you bag those important power-ups and shortcuts. To make the game more damage-based, there's also weaponry and gadgets so you can place mines in strategic places a la Wipeout. Now, I know you all love rushing your tits off, and this game should certainly have you gasping for more. At a new and improved 60 frames per second, this game is silky. Apparently, when this game comes online, there should be no lag or pop-up. Clearly aimed at multiplayer mayhem, you'll be able to go online and race against 3 other opponents from across the globe, and even engage in profound chit-chat before the race begins. We'll have to wait and see exactly how all the mutations and online action will come into play, but so far Pod 2 Speed Zone is shaping up nicely. Time now for our rather rude top 5.
With all the buxom blondes, panty shots, and macho action in games these days, you'd have thought that a few pervy spin-offs would have slipped into the scene somehow.
Admittedly, the odd developer has brought us such titles as Thrill Kill or Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll, but alas, we have been severely sheltered from such shockers.
So we've dug around and fished out some seemingly innocent filth, the porno moans and groans in video games.
Okay, a little obvious perhaps, but this big blonde beefcake has all the markings of a successful porn star. Big hands, big muscles, big guns, and the husky, disgruntled tone of a smoky bandit. It's Mr. Duke Nukem. He graces the game with encouraging macho comments like, "Damn, I'm good," and certainly knows how to handle his hardware.
Touch me again, and I'll kill you. Damn, I'm good.
Ms. Lara Croft must be queen of porno gasps. She lets out a perfectly titillating... Whenever she pulls herself up and demonstrating the fine line between pleasure and pain, our Lara always makes sure she gets one last grunt in there before she pops her cork.
Yeah, but if you're really serious about your hardware, the only thing to send that shiver of satisfaction down your spine is the silencer P2K gun in the world is not enough. It's pure, it's clean, hard and shiny, it never shoots blanks. It's like discreet penetration, no fuss. This has got to be the sexiest sound in a game.
Tennis is undoubtedly sexy, in a British kind of way, but it's the exhausted gasps of exultation that always make your mind wander.
It's just perfect ping pong, Alex.
I've got a really good one. Resident Evil zombies, particularly in number 2, because, you know, each game has different zombie sounds.
Excuse me?
Definitely. When there's a big group of them, they let out this pained groan, like they're ever so slowly coming. It's like how you imagine what a really old person having sex sounds like.
Boof, you're disturbed. A couple of weeks ago, we offered up this prize for your delectation. But the task was more than your average competition potato.
Lowering our oh-so-reputable tone somewhat slightly, we asked you to dip your wick into your pervy imaginations and come up with the name of a video game if we all lived in a parallel porno universe.
This was the most responded to bits competition ever, you freaks. Now, first off, Paul, a.k.a. Sliff, gave us one with his fantasy title, Night of the Giving Head, which leaves a gaping hole in the market for sequels.
Indeed. The appropriately monikered Master Pecker came upon Drive Her, Demand and Bonk Her Bed Alert, and Metal Rear Solid. There's a fine future in the tabloids for you, my son.
Joe Wakeford surprised us from behind with Ready to Fumble and the brilliant Gonad Soul.
Well, all of our orifices were offended by the vast selection of two people who obviously have too much time on their hands.
Yes, indeed. Brace yourselves. We've got Super Mario Lovers, Black in White, Boulders Gash, Siphon Felcher, Earthworm Jism, Ready to Bumhole, Poontang, Taste the Peen, and Tony Hawk's Pro Felching. These are the kind of games Irene Bambury wants in her Christmas stocking.
Careful, girl, or you'll get a fan club.
Stefan said, Episode 1, The Phantom Phallus, Half-Wife, Bear Witch, Volume 2, Scoffin' Cock, Poke Your Man, VD Rally, Escape from Spunky Island, and of course the extremely popular and probably already in production, Womb Raider.
Well, we are utterly stumped. We cannot decide. So we've decided to put these two to the test. And accompanying our selection process is some fantastic tunes given to us by our man, Styler.
Our Emily will be spanking the monkey. If it dresses to the left, Irene will win. However, if he dresses to the right, Stefan will be the winner. Okay, Emily, hit it.
Woo! Stefan, you are the winner. You are disturbed.
Of course, there's another competition at the end of the show, so stay tuned.
After the break, we'll be relieving ourselves with some of this.
Hello and welcome back to our finely tuned edition of Bits.
Later on in the show, we'll be getting jiggy with some stress relief.
And of course, we'll have that totally random competition question at the end of the show.
Thanks, Kent, for your musical contribution.
Chicken Oriental!
But next up, it's Emily with some really shite games.
What is the point of driving games, apart from to fulfill the desires of little boys and a few girls to get into the seat of mucho expensivo vehicles that they would never normally get their hands on? Publishers Acclaim recently brought out the beautiful Ferrari 355 on the Dreamcast in arcades, which also satisfied the urges of gamers everywhere to get behind the wheel of an Italian stallion. Ever licence greedy, Acclaim have nabbed a new one, this time in the form of the classic two-wheelers, Ducati bikes. Similar to Gran Turismo, Ducati World has tried to extend interest in the game beyond the predictable driving round and round of tracks by creating the Ducati Life mode. Here you can buy and sell new and used bikes, then race in local cups to win more spending money. One cute touch is that you can also spend your hard-won cash buying new patterns for your leathers and helmets. Apparently these bikers need to look as good as their machines. But this is where the game defeats me. Why buy what must have been an extremely expensive license, get all the anal bike simulation physics pretty accurate, and then make the game look so bland? With glitches galore, you'd have to be a crash test dummy to buy this game, or a very serious enthusiast indeed. Even then, I'm tempted to say save your 40 quid and stick it in a high-interest bank account. At least then, in a couple of years' time, you might have enough to buy a full-size replica. Something to wrap your legs round. And if you're about to buy the game Blade, well, I might be about to save you another 40 quid. Get in there, you useless waste of space! This is the prequel to the '98 vampire-tastic film featuring Wesley Snipes. A hybrid half beat-em-up, half shoot-em-up, similar to the equally shit Zombie Revenge. Where the film was littered with vampires, the game has them neatly arranged. Even with an impressive arsenal, Blade is totally ineffectual at close combat. This Muscle Mary's high-kicking should stay at home to entertain his equally mincing friends. The graphics are dire, the lead hero looks white, the fighting is pants, and there's no obvious movie tie-in. So why, oh why, did they bother? Another game bites the dust. Both games are out to buy now on multifarious platforms, and if you do choose to ignore my advice, then at least you can always use the CDs as giant sequins for that fantastic Christmas party outfit. You have been warned. Go on. Time now to take a look at what's available to buy on this week's shop shelf. Go on, bugger off!
Fight!
What's the attraction of the WWF franchise that makes spotty teenagers come back again and again and again to the weird, spandexed world of hairy-backed men with no acting ability and a serious selection of thongs? Who the hell knows? But here's another one set to hit the #1 slot. WWF No Mercy has all the usual new stuff, from even more accurate representations of lots of wrestlers to more trashable venues to extra special modes of play.
You got it!
It had to happen sometime, and it looks like after 20 years of interactive entertainment, we've finally gone deep. The game is Gift. You play a man of large and slobbish stature called into the development studios of Game Valley to take a bunch of dwarves through a parody of the computer and film industry so you can save the princess from peril. Who said there weren't any new ideas anymore?
From its humble beginnings in the arcades and on archaic home computers to its current standing as the games industry's own personal Elvis, Street Fighter just don't know when to stop. Please leave the building! But seriously, Street Fighter EX3 is PlayStation 2's first, yes, first offering of the classic beat-em-up. This time it's a slightly podgier, but not quite full 3D. If you've got a PlayStation 2, which you probably don't, it's out now.
Reminiscent of that tragic night on your Mexican holiday when you made a complete arse of yourself with a waiter and a couple of maracas, Samba de Amigo is here to unrepress those painful memories and, like a really bad friend, remind you of them for the rest of your life. The concept is simple. Shake the novelty controllers to the beat and keep the blinds drawn.
Go racing with Colin McRae. Again! The cheeky Scot is back with his partner in crime, Nicky Grist, leading the way with Colin McRae Rally 2 through the PC backroads and hairpin bends. They're getting mucky with a smarter machine than the PlayStation, so feel the throttle and wallow in oil. New cars, new modes, new tracks, dipsticks and tissues at the ready. It's out now.
time of year again. Pressure's on for a perfect Christmas.
You're screaming brats demanding presents. Money's always tight. But this year, it's the PlayStation 2, which you can't get for love of money anyway.
The family get-together is a recipe for disaster. The annual visit from the mother-in-law is enough to make you change your faith.
And the cleaning's constant.
So we've come up with 3 surefire ways to beat those stressful situations.
Pill-popping mama's gotta let loose every once in a while and shoot the shit out of a couple of innocent bystanders.
Not her most likely choice, perhaps, but we think the classic arcade-style shooting time crisis should do the trick. And it's better than doing a Ruth Ellis on your family. Oh, God!
If you fancy the feel of heavy metal in your hand, but don't want the consequences of the real thing, get your digits clasped around a G-Con light gun and prepare to battle it out with terrorist scum. This is single player only, so indulge yourself with some solo-style carnage.
The following is a classic stress syndrome for all those angst-ridden teenagers who just can't handle it anymore, man.
Your dad hides surreptitiously behind his newspaper while you try to focus those caned, dilated pupils on a pair of yelling, flapping lips. It's all too much. You need to chill out and forget this evil dimension they call reality.
Your room is a tip.
You just don't help out here anymore. And did you know that your mom...
What you need is fluid, dude.
Fluid is the perfect game for people who like to languorously indulge themselves at home. You control a dolphin that swims through hoops to take you into different musical underwater worlds. Move the dolphin around the screen to change the tempo and harmony of the tunes. Then bliss out to some bombastic beats, man.
And let's not forget shy, retiring henpecked dad. He may look like he doesn't give a poodle's piss, but believe you me, he knows only too well the pressures of the everyday grind.
Let's face it, what with all that stress Mum's not been putting out. Ugh.
I just need some guilt-free relief. We're not talking executive here, just a quickie.
What you need is some classic gaming hand action. Stroker.
Stroker on the Commodore 64 is basic gaming for the basic fella. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Don't dial an 0891. Your objective is to stroke your way up the Peter meter within the time allotted. But premature ejaculation is not rewarded. No chill out Siggy for a messy daddy. Be gentle and joy will prevail.
Ugh, disgusting.
So there you have it, stress relief for all the family.
Time now for the competition.
So what's on offer for our lucky winner tonight then, Alex?
Well, they'll be the proud owner of this Zelda Majora's Mask Gold Pack bundle!
And all you have to do is answer this suitably random question, which has been festering in Emily's pants for about a week now.
La, la, la. Monday mornings. Oh, pulling yourself out of the weekend and into the week can take more than mere willpower. Normal folks need coffee. Crazy folks need cocaine. But clever folks use the power of the video game. What we want you to do is to come up with the ultimate Monday morning gaming experience to kickstart us all back into the yes ma'am, can do, no problem at all sir, Monday to Friday thing we all know and love. So, name your game and explain.
Well, all you gotta do to enter is send us your answer via our website at www.4later.com/bits.